Storytellers, happy September. Can you believe it's September? I cannot. I am so excited. I'm inviting a bunch of folks in here I haven't seen in a while, just to catch up. How is the start of your new month going? Can you believe we're in September? Isn't that crazy pants, or is that just me? I am so excited. I'm excited because I'm going to spend fall in, where am I? I'm in Wisconsin. Sometimes you need a little reality check of where you're at. Okay, so that is good. Just clicking through here. Interested in seeing where you guys are at. Haven't talked to so many of you. Hey, good morning. Hi Kelly. Thanks for coming on. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about this book, Anam Cara. And some of my prompts this past week were from this book, like what season is our soul in? And I've been transforming all summer. It feels like I was kind of cracked open and really accepting my own leadership role and stepping into something deeper and greater. And as I'm doing that, this book is literally mirroring what I'm going through. Have you ever experienced that, where whatever you're reading is so in tune with what you're experiencing that you have to take pause, journal it out, sleep on it, and then read it again the next day, because just in that day you've transitioned. Does that make sense? I've been healing my body all summer in Wisconsin. It feels so good to be here. I'm doing this retreat in Sedona later this month, and the only reason I'm going back to Arizona is to host this retreat in Sedona. And then I'm coming back to Wisconsin because I'm not finished here. I'm spending 5 more weeks here from the end of September through November. And as I sort of stepped into my role of co-hosting this retreat, I began to see how I really want to work with women moving forward. And I took a look at all my one-on-one clients, and I began to see that everyone I've been working with is in some sort of transition, whether it's job transition, life transition, emotional transition, up-leveling. We're all in this thing together, right? So I've been redoing my packages, moving past the 30-day into 6, 9, 12-month packages. And yesterday I read this, and this is where I really wanted to share today. Wait until you hear this. So this book, Anam Cara, talks a lot about how our time is in this temple of memory. It's written by an Irish poet, and it talks a lot about the Celtic wisdom that is in Ireland. So listen to this. To visit the temple of memory is not merely to journey back into the past. It's to rather waken up and integrate everything that's currently happening to us. So you should see this. So much of it is highlighted. I read that and something clicked. Our memories are stories, right? We hold them in a special place where we access certain memories, certain stories at certain times when we allow ourselves to experience that. Does that make sense? Play with it. Ponder it, question it. Depending on how heavy or how painful the story is, really depends on how often we go back and we look at that memory. And this is when everything really started to click. The author quotes T.S. Eliot, and T.S. Eliot said, "We had the experience, but we missed the meaning." And I sort of woke up in that paragraph. We had the experience, but we missed the meaning. As we're in transition, we're talking about stories. Every client I work with, we dig into the meaning of the story. We dig into the meat, the soul of the story. We look at the experience, which is our story, and we pull out the nugget, we pull out the lessons so that we can pass on what we need to pass on, or digest what we need to digest, or flip it and find a new way to look at it, find a new lens to look at it through. This is what I do with women. And when he said this, we had the experience or the story, but we missed the meaning. I had like, holy cow. It was like he was talking to me. I love it. Christina, are you still here? There's such synchronicity with books I've read. What books have you read that you felt like this? All right, so it goes on. Every human heart seeks meaning. That's true. Every woman I work with, that's what we talk about. We're trying to break down this story into digestible pieces so that our experiences matter. And the lessons we learn, we can pass on. We're seeking that bridge, right? Between our experiences and the people that we connect with. It goes on. Meaning is the sister to experience. And that's when everything clicked for me. All along I've been talking about, I have it on t-shirts. Your stories matter, because it's in our stories that we connect with one another. We empathize, we communicate, we heal, we're united through stories. So stories are incredibly important to us as a society. The meaning is the sister of experience. I've talked from the beginning that I believe it's important that we heal stories before we share stories, because story is an energy, and whatever we're creating stories with is sent out into the world. And that's going to create the ripple effect. To discern the meaning of an experience is when we wake up to our purpose. It's an essential way of finding our inner belonging and connecting to our soul at a deeper level. All right, so this is how I broke this down. We have a story, we have an experience. We either look at it as something that hurt us, triggered us, healed us, supported us. Like, we give that story meaning, right? We have a story around our experience. The experience itself is a story, but what we tell it, what we believe it to be, we make into a story in itself, right? What's more important, though, is the meaning the story was meant to give us. Does that make sense? So I'm breaking this down with some of my soul sisters, and we're talking about like ways that we're all shifting with the big energetic shift that just took place, and we're diving in a layer deeper to support people at a better, at like a more soulful level. And when I read this, it felt like something was released in me, and I got it. Our stories matter. It's the meaning of the story that is more important. The experience of it has already happened. Understanding the meaning of it, the lessons of it, the nuggets of it, that's what I do. That's the soul of the story. That's why I call myself a soul story trainer. And that's how I've changed how I'm working with women. They're longer packages because we're taking an experience and opening it up so we can dissect it and find the meaning of it. Find the lessons of it, let go of the rest, set fire to the stuff that clings to us, and share what needs to be shared so we can move into a new meaning. Does that make sense? It was, I actually got on Zoom last night with Romina, and I literally read her pages of this stuff because I was like, I need to talk about this. This book has meant something profound to me, And I have to keep on going back to passages to read them, because every time I read them, something newer sinks in. So Christina, okay. A lot of fiction for you. Usually whatever the character is experiencing, I'm experiencing. What the character needs to learn is something I need to learn. Isn't that fantastic? We're just drawn to stories at a certain time. Maud Vane by Taran Fisher is probably the biggest one. I needed to complete a level of self-love that I hadn't yet reached. I hadn't accepted the dark corners of myself, and Maud Vane is about wholly loving yourself. That's deep. I love that. And this concept of dark corners, that in itself is profound. I'm actually, when I talk to women about this, my new one-on-one packages and opening up my heart and my space and my calendar for new soul clients, I talk about that. I'm looking for soul sisters who are willing to give themselves the time and the space and the energy necessary to look at the stories they've put on the shelves, because it's this stuff over here or behind you where the meaning of these things still haven't been found, because they're sitting here. And this is the other thing that sort of clicked last night as I'm reading through this and I'm, absorbing it at such a deep level. Until we really understand the meaning of these stories or these experiences, we're going to continue to repeat the pattern. So that story, that experience is going to continue to show up, right? That's what we're working on in Sedona, is breaking those patterns, those experiences, so that we can learn what we need to learn so we can move on. But really, that's what I'm doing with clients. And I hadn't really fully understood how to put that into words until I read this. It's so good. I'm like, I had to share this with you guys. I'm sending out an email on Sunday about it. I'm going to be talking, this is like how I'm moving forward with women. And I've only got like this much of the book left, only pages. And there's like 60 pages left. And I'm finding myself sad to finish this because I don't feel like I'm done. Stories and experiences are profound. I mean, I've been talking about this book for a month now, and it's taken me, what I thought would take me a weekend has taken me a month because of how profound it is. And then the meaning of our stories is where people like me come in. And Christina as a fiction book coach. It's fantastic. So it's September. We have 4 more months to create true meaning in our experiences. Understanding the meaning of these stories. We have 4 more months to do that for this year. So what stories, what experiences are still weighing heavy on your heart? And what of those stories or those experiences did you tell yourself you were going to look at the beginning of the year and haven't yet? That's what I would really love, hey Sarah, to concentrate on this month specifically. There's so much conversation in the entrepreneur world about September being the new January. And at first I didn't really like that phrase, but now as it sort of sunk in and I'm able to understand it, I get it. It makes sense to me now, like where we have to look at our whole year from, take it back and look at what we haven't accomplished yet and really put focus on that. And that takes some time, and then make commitments for something new to happen, right? So my September, what I'm focused on is this transition that I've made for myself on being more committed to my one-on-one work so that I can make a deeper impact in lives that are going to make a deeper impact in more lives, right? I'm hosting a 4-day retreat. I'm putting a ton of love and energy into that, as is Emmy. And that feels so good. And I'm changing like how I work with people to be in person. This morning I started my day at a coffee shop. Listen to this. This is how synchronicity when you're supposed to be somewhere, this is how it happens. So I have coffee with my cousin this morning at a coffee shop called Miss Molly's. Isn't that the cutest thing you've ever heard of her? And place is packed. And it's so great to see a local business like that, just jam-packed. Literally, there's people waiting, eating their quiche in the corner, holding their own plate, and like side pocketing their coffee. It was just so fantastic. And my cousin happens to see two people that she knows. One is a local photographer who's got a really steady business, and the other one is a professor of speech communication, and he teaches down in Chicago, and he commutes from Milwaukee to Chicago. And had those two people not been there, we wouldn't have had a seat. So we go sit down with them at their foretop, and my cousin Tanya introduces me to these people. We start talking. She's an entrepreneur. She tells stories through video or through photos. I'm a storyteller trainer for women in transition. He is helping people tell stories on stage, and the three of us have started talking. Milwaukee has such a great diversity, and I'm really interested in helping a more diverse crowd share stories, story slams, getting published, things like this. And this little conversation turned into possible workshop ideas and nonprofit work and possible adjunct work again. It was crazy how let's go have coffee at Miss Molly's turned into, let's get together, let's meet again, I want to talk about this, you have to meet this person, you have to meet that person. That's what happens when you're in the right place at the right time, right? And I'm following my heart on where I'm supposed to be. This is a new story for me, but it's more than just the experience. I'm giving this a lot of time and a lot of space, and I'm understanding the meaning of it. I'm not rushing it. I'm expressing it, I'm writing about it, I'm sharing and being upfront about the fears of a move that I haven't done in 20 years. But when you're in the right place and you're doing the right thing and you're in the right direction, stuff like this is going to happen. So, Sarah, your focus is on relocation. There's some stories coming up about home. Yes, you and I are on the same journey. We're on the same path, and I can't wait for you to share your experience with this group, because how you've changed your mindset stories to be able to see that shift in reality is, when I sit and think about what you've done even in the last 30 days, it's incredible. Yeah, really excited. So feel free to share your September affirmations, what you want to focus on for the rest of the year, what you're calling in. And if you are interested in some one-on-one work, I'm going to post the link. What I've decided to do, yes, Sarah, I'm so excited for you. What I've decided to do is create a connection form up front, because so oftentimes I get on the phone with people and we talk about stories, and the price is daunting, which I can understand. But the work I do is far beyond written story format. It's a lot bigger than what I gave myself credit for, and it took me a while to accept that. And so shifting into longer term packages means payment plans. So what I decided to do is create a connection form up front and offering 30-minute connection calls to the people I feel are going to be a fit after that form is done. So rather than just giving you my link to schedule something, I've decided to sort of shift it. So I'm going to put the link in the description if one-on-one work is something you feel like you're interested in doing, looking at the meaning of your experiences, uncovering the meanings, digging into the soul of your experiences, finding those hidden gems that we can turn into lessons through speeches, through webinars, through videos, through essays. I've opened up my space, my calendar, my heart, my time to welcome in new soul clients. And so that is my September. That's what I'm focusing on this September, is personal connection, in addition to my my Facebook group and, you know, my online work, I'm putting energy into personal connection, and I'm really excited about it. That feels so good to me. All right, loves, I'm off to go play for the day. This week has been really profound, a lot of energy shifting. And when I connected in this morning, what I heard my spirit team, what I heard them tell me to do is to let everything else catch up at this point. So I'm learning how to settle into the changes I'm making and allow things to happen. Holy shit. Okay, I gotta go before I start crying. I love you. Happy storytelling.